This horse that I'm riding here has had a little bit of trouble with the heat that we had last week. He struggled with that some, so really the last probably 2 weeks. So in the beginning, I gave him a couple days off in a row, and then I started bringing him back to where I'd ride him like every other day, ride him in the morning when it was cooler like this. He needed to recover because he was really worn down from the heat, but I also try to help build up his heat tolerance. This horse is from locally, but not much has been done with him in the last year. And he's not the kind of horse that is really self-motivated. He don't run when I turn him out. He just kind of stands. So he's what I would consider like an indoor horse. So I've been trying to get his heat tolerance up, get his fitness up, because fitness helps with heat tolerance. And that's what I've been working on with him. I've been using our exercises as far as moving the shoulders, getting the bridle up. That I've been doing because that's where he needs to build muscle to carry himself properly. And as he converts more muscle, basically, I wouldn't say he's fat, he actually could use a few pounds, but what he has isn't muscle. As he converts body mass to muscle, the heat tolerance will be easier on him. But it's a balance that I have to manage. I have to work him enough so that we're building muscle, but not so much that he's struggling with the heat. So I'm gonna trot him around just a little bit, kind of give you an idea of what I've been working on with him. You've seen a couple of videos of this horse. As I trot him around, I want to give him his face, but I want his chin to come up around his body. Use my legs a little bit to send him forward onto the bit. You see how he kind of gapes a little bit? That gape isn't anything sore with his mouth or not liking this bit. It's just a little low port grazing bit. It's a pretty basic bit. What that is, that's the resistance that he's feeling when I'm asking him to pick up. It's easier to open his mouth to evade the bit than it is to exercise those muscles and pick his body up. A lot of times, somebody will put a bit on a horse and the horse acts like the bit is the problem. Well, like in his case, it's not the bit, it's the body position that the bit is asking the horse to do. It's asking the horse to put him into a position and use his body in a way that he needs to build muscle. And that's kind of his way of complaining that the work is a little bit hard. But just because the work is hard doesn't mean we should stop. He needs to build the muscle, and then the work won't be so hard. I'm riding him with a good bit of spurs to engage his back end around his back, build the muscle. A little bit of contact. That mare over there just came in a day or two ago. She has been here before, but he has never seen her before. Kind of take a hold of his face, drive with my spurs, drive around. You'll see, he'll kind of give his head right there, and I want him to hold it. I don't want him to duck it down and then come right back up. If he brings it in and then comes right back up, he's really not flexing the muscle. He's going through the motion to try to get the release from the pressure, but he's not really flexing the muscle. Just like when you work out, you have to work out properly. That's better. Whoop. Back forward. Now you see him kind of fall to the left. He opened his mouth and then he fell to the left because he wasn't trying to use his muscle. There we go. That's better. Squeezing forward both legs. When you see him put his head down, and open his mouth, he's trying to evade the bit. Now in English riding, what they do is they put a cavesson on, and that forces the horse to hold his mouth shut. I know quite a few Western trainers that do that too. But what I want to do, if the horse has resistance, I don't want to hide the resistance. I want to see that it's there so I can work on it. When I get him muscle built up and get him moving, using his body correctly, the resistance is going to go away. If I put a cavesson on and hold his mouth shut, the problem isn't fixed. I just hid the symptom. Doesn't do any good to hide the symptoms. That's why you hardly ever see me ride with many gadgets. I want to see what the horse does, and I want it to learn to work correctly without gadgets. So I want to work this in a right bend, doing a right circle, and in a left bend, doing a left circle. I did left a minute ago, now I'm in right. And then we're going to work on changing bend. As I change the bend in the circle, and then we go through the middle and change bend, I'm working both sides of the horse. And what I'll do, as I'm working one direction, like he's a little bit harder on my right hand, not as soft, he's a little bit weaker on the right side, I'll work the weaker side a little bit more than the stronger side so that I can bring him up and muscle him up evenly. He's not gaping, well, now he's starting to gape. He's not opening his mouth as much, but it's kind of hanging on this right hand a little bit. When I feel him kind of hang on my right hand or hang on my left hand, what I'll do is kind of squeeze with that spur on that side, and that will elevate the middle and bring the nose in and get him off of that hand on that side. And you notice I'm just kind of setting my hands and holding them still. Got his nose out, there we go. Setting my hands and holding them still. When he gives his nose, I want there to be slack to get a reward. I don't want to just keep taking the slack up. See, right there, his nose came in, but my hand stayed still. He has to get the reward for bringing his nose in. He needs to start holding it a little longer than that. There we go. What's going to happen as this gets better, and when I put leg on, he picks his body up and rounds his body. As this progresses, he's going to get stronger in his back end, and that's going to make his transitions, his upward transitions and his downward transitions, much, much better. A lot of horses that have trouble transitioning up and down, just about every horse that has trouble transitioning one way has trouble the other way. The problem comes in from the back end not doing enough pushing. So after working him this way, and he's picking his back up and learning to push with his back end, because when his head softens, his back end pushes, that makes his transitions better. So this is Gizmo. I'll put a link up here to the other videos that I've done with him, so you can see how he's coming along. And it's training wise, it's some progress, but it's not a lot, because I've had to really work on heat, building up his heat tolerance. Today the heat tolerance is better. He's a lot more alert. It's also cooler. Until next time, thank you for watching.